Hi everyone, it's Linda. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to showcase a couple of different bracelet designs. Actually, 3 bracelets, 1 fantasy necklace. And this all stems from a challenge that I had with Aali, who is Pandorably Charmed on Instagram and YouTube, and Tani or Tani. One of these days she'll have to tell me exactly how she says it, but she is Appleseed on Instagram. And we all purchased some of the new transformation butterfly beads from Troll Beads, and we decided to have a challenge using each of those beads that we purchased. I purchased all 4. I know Aali purchased all 4. Tani, or yeah, Tani, I'm just going to say Tani, she purchased just a few. The challenge that the 3 of us had was that each design needed to incorporate one of the butterflies, and then it had to have a stone, a critter of some sort, a flower, and then for bonus points, if you were really wanting to stretch yourself, you needed to use like a complementary color, complementary like on the color wheel. So I'm going to share each one of the bracelets that I put together, and I'm going to kind of go in reverse order. This bracelet here was my last bracelet that I just posted yesterday. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the clasp. This is the Troll Beads Big Flower Clasp. This is a little bit unusual. They don't have too many of these, but these are kind of a really cool clasp or lock, and that in a way it almost gives you just a little bit of extra length if you are using a bracelet that is a little smaller. But as you can see, it has a lobster claw on one side, and then it has this beautiful flower and leaf on the other side. And this side, I do believe, has like a little like dewdrop, or maybe that's supposed to be a little ladybug. But this is probably, I believe this is the very first like decorative clasp that I ever purchased from Troll Beads. And it is called Big Flower Clasp. And then I have a plain stopper. And then I have a lotus flower. Let's see if I can get this to focus a little. So I have a lotus flower. I actually used 2. And then my stone is this go-round white moonstone. And then this is now called Delicate Flower. It used to be called Clarity Flower, I believe. But I just love how this particular silver just kind of hugs around the go-round. Here we have a pink caterpillar. And this is not a catalog bead. This was like a special unique that I purchased when I went to the grand event last August at Troll Beads, Texas. This is an older bead from the collection. It is simply called Butterflies, and it just has all these butterflies circling around the bead. This one here is now called Green Desire. I believe it was Ornate of Green before. This was from like a Christmas collection, like I think 2 years ago. Just a beautiful bead. As you can see, it's kind of got that golden yellow undertone, but then it's got that like green ribbons over top in the faceting. And then here is the star of the show. This is Wings of Passion. Here we have the flower of the month for July. This is the water lily, and there's a hidden pearl. This is probably one of my favorite beads. This was from a spring collection like 2 or 3 years ago. It is now called Rationality, and I'm forgetting what the original name was. You're lucky that I'm remembering the names as I am. This is Raspberry Bush. This was a Troll Beads Day bead. I don't know if I can pick up the year, but this was a kit of 6 different colored glass beads. Very, very beautiful. Thought it matched the pink very nicely in the Wings of Passion. And then this cute little bead here is Climbing Frog. This was actually a gift from Aali. Can't remember if she gifted it to me for Christmas one year or my birthday, but she knows I love frogs, so very sweet little bead. And that's kind of why I went with the water lily and the lotus. I kind of figured, oh, this is going to be like a little you know, pond theme with, you know, the different critters like the butterflies and caterpillars and things that you might find around a pond. And then this is a ladybug unique that I recently purchased with Troll Beads Partridge Creek. This here is called Pink Ribbon. Very beautiful glass bead. And then we have one more lotus, and I actually wish I would have placed it on the bracelet the other way, but sometimes we have those little oops, you know, that aren't that big of a deal. So this is the design that I came up with featuring Wings of Passion. And I'm just going to put this, I think, back here. Then the week before, so 2 weeks ago, I posted a fantasy necklace, and this is my very first fantasy necklace that I ever purchased. It features this beautiful amethyst drop, and I did purchase this in the longest length. A lot of times I wear my fantasy necklaces just long, and what I'll do is I'll either knot the back or maybe I'll put a stopper on it to kind of cinch it up so it's not hanging so far down. But this one I decided to kind of split so I could wear it up a little bit higher on my neck. But here I kind of went all out. I used Nature Girl, which is now retired, but she is such a beauty. You can see she has flowers and vines. You see her face 3 times. So no matter which way this turns, you're always seeing her face. And then this is a beautiful jumbo unique with a dragonfly on it. I think you can see it a little bit better from the side, just in a beautiful lilac color. And then we have another fantasy necklace pendant here. This is the Apple Blossom pendant, and I believe this came out for Mother's Day, and this was the year that they had the Pink Delight facet, and I want to say the Pink Pearl fantasy necklace, but this is the Apple Blossom pendant. And then I originally did have this with stoppers. I kind of had to take the stoppers off to use in other designs, but this here is a faceted unique that I had purchased virtually from Troll Beats, Texas, when they had one of their grand events. And this is the beautiful Lilac Melody. Like, the whole inspiration for designing this particular fantasy necklace came from this unique. I love like the light blue, like that bright royal blue, and then it just has these soft lilac or plum flowers. So I decided to pull out the plum and lilac in this particular fantasy necklace. So here we have the faceted unique and Lilac Melody, which is from this year's spring collection. That was on one side of my necklace. And then on this side, this particular flower, believe it or not, is also a pendant. And I think it's meant to be worn kind of like split like this on a fantasy necklace, almost like, I almost wish I had a second one. And I might get a second one of these days so I can have one opposite each side. But this is called, what is it called? Flower Meadow. Just a very pretty, this can be worn on a bracelet as well, but just beautiful, almost like little pansy flowers, and then a little leaf detail there on the bottom. And then the star of the show here is the Wings of Serenity, which is this beautiful blue butterfly. So really and truly, I had this part a little higher on the neck. It's just kind of hard to, in film, kind of show that to you. But that is basically the fantasy necklace design. And the pendant that I used, again, kind of focusing on that pink that was in the faceted unique here, or that plum. I did use the clasp of the heart, which was from this spring, and it has a strawberry quartz on one side and then a rose quartz on the other. So that is my fantasy necklace design that I put together. And then that brings us to the necklace or the bracelet that I put together based off of the Wings of Energy butterfly bead. And I'm gonna, again, start with the clasp. So I am using the rose clasp. This was the Mother's Day bead, so to speak, 3 or 4 years back, I believe. Just this beautiful, simple, blooming red rose. And it does have this lovely leaf detail, as you can see. The next thing that you see here is a butterfly spacer. This, I believe, was spring last year, and it is just this beautiful spacer with butterflies that just go all the way around. Here we have the hydrangea bead. This was actually one of the first beads that I ever purchased from Troll Beads. I purchased a hydrangea, the little fairy, and like this little blue bud glass bead. But this silver is one of the beads that started it all for me. Very beautiful with how you have the oxidation just kind of bringing out the beauty of those hydrangea flowers. Here we have a red onyx go round. This is kind of a hidden critter. This was from the Time to Fly starter bracelet. And on one side you have leaves, and then you have this cute little bird. And the bead itself is called Departure. I think like with the Time to Fly, they actually started giving names to the glass bead and silver bead and lock components. So that is Departure. And then we have the Wings of Energy. This bead I felt was probably the bead that was going to be the most challenging for me to design with. And this design, believe it or not, was probably one of the easiest designs to come up with. So it's kind of funny how you can get in your own head sometimes. And, you know, it's not that big a deal. So Wings of Energy. This is a yellow unique that I just happened to have that was perfect for this design. And then I kind of did a little trick here. I don't know if it was very noticeable on the finished bracelet design that I posted, but I have the Troll Anemone pendant. And, you know, this is, you know, not only just for use on a fantasy necklace, obviously you can use it on a bangle or a bracelet like I have here, but typically you're supposed to put a glass bead in there. And I was a little tricky, and I put a long retired dandelion bead in here. And I chose the dandelion because, of course, I think no matter how much, if you garden, you invariably always find a dandelion of some sort in your garden, and dandelions are yellow. So kind of a little nod to yellow there with incorporating that silver in my design. But the centerpiece, of course, was this beautiful Troll Anemone pendant. And then I have the sunbeam stopper or spacer. And then I have dragonfly on silk, another nod there to the yellow with the yellow wings there, as well as one of my critter components. This is just a beautiful unique. This was one of the mystery boxes that I purchased with Troll Beads Texas. They had it where, you know, you bought a mystery box for 50 bucks and you at least had a value of $50 in the box. But, you know, a lot of times you would find things a little bit more than that even. And this is just a gorgeous unique that was in my mystery box. This is an older silver, just called Butterfly, long retired. Another red onyx, and then another hydrangea. So this was my bracelet for the Wings of Energy. And then the bracelet that I really went all out on was the very first one. And what I did, I actually have a longer, like one of my longer lengths, and then I did, I like to buy or you know, get my foxtails in different lengths. Like sometimes if I'm only going to have a few beads on it, I'll use a shorter length so it's not so droopy on my wrist and it stays a little closer. So I use like one of the ones that's just slightly longer and then one that's slightly shorter. And then I kind of join them with the clasp. And if you can imagine, I'll see if I can kind of demo it here. I did it as a wraparound. Kind of hard to demo while you're filming. But let me start on this end here. And this is the crisp flower lock. And it just has these beautiful flowers. Like I envisioned them to be poppies perhaps, but just these beautiful flowers. And then you have this lovely leaf detail. So that is the crisp flower lock. And then I do have just a plain stopper. This beauty here is the wildflowers bead, and I just love how it has little hints of almost like lapis lazuli blue in there, plus hints of green, and then just this beautiful neutral like khaki brown almost. Just such a gorgeous bead. It's wildflowers. And then this is the My Galaxy bead. I know it was, I want to say one of last year's People's Uniques. And it was one that I originally had passed up. But the more I started to see it used, I fell in love with it. I mean, look at all that beautiful glitter that you see. And then this bead here is Lover's Faith, just probably one of the most beautiful troll beads flowers that has ever been designed. I am in love with this bead. It just kind of has a simple loop that you thread through, and you kind of see a little poppy or leaf detail, but just beautiful bead. This here is an oldie but goodie. This is just simply called Turquoise Feather. I was actually really pleased how well this particular bead went with all these other ones. Like, this is one that I don't break out of my bead box very often, but it's probably one of the oldest beads that I own, you know, one of the very first beads that I ever purchased when I started collecting. This here is Flower Wreath, just a really sweet little spacer. As you can see, I am chock full of flowers on this bracelet. This is the Sahara Night Facet, long retired, but definitely brought out some black tones in this bracelet, and love how this looks. Oops. I am realizing I'm showing this upside down. So this is the Dancing Butterfly Stopper. So definitely one of my critter components. And then that brings us to the clasp that I used to join the two bracelets together. This was from last year, and this is simply called Butterfly Garden. And you see the butterfly and a simple leaf on one side, and then we have leaves on the other. We have another stopper. This little bead here came out this spring, and it is Jester's Hat. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the what is it now? The dancing flower, or the old clarity flower. How it just kind of hugs or snugs up to a go-round. This is the green onyx go-round facet bead that I just fell in love with. I love that bright green. This is Sun and Soil. I believe this was from last spring, spring 2022. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous bead. Cicada Melody, here's one of my critters. That was also from last spring. Here we have the Lucky Diamond Sparkle. And this, like the sparkle beads were like one of those surprise collections that Troll Beads came out with last year. We have another flower wreath. Here we have probably one of my older beads, you know, as far as me collecting for a long time. This is Milan, and this is just one of those beads that has a little bit of blue in there, and khakis and greens, obviously black, but this is like one of those, I don't know, like ninjas of the bead world where you can pretty much pair it with anything and it just looks fabulous. So if you don't have one in your collection and you find one, I recommend grabbing it if you can. Beautiful bead. This here came out this spring. Here we have Enchanting Dragonfly. So absolutely one of my critters. Here we have the inspiration for this entire bracelet, and this is the Wings of Success. Here is another one of those hidden gems with troll beads. This is called Black Silk. Also long retired, and if you are able to find one, I absolutely recommend picking it up. Like, this reminds me a lot, almost like a black pearl. It's just got that iridescent quality. Just gorgeous bead. Here we have Joyful Flower. I think it used to be called Happy Flower. And it just has all these cute little faces in the center of each flower. Each face is different, as you can see. And they're not very obvious that there's little faces till you start looking for them. This one came out this spring, and it is Ice Castles. And this is just an absolutely gorgeous bead. Like, they got me really good with this last year's spring collection, but they usually do with the spring collections. Look how gorgeous that is. And then here we have also, again, long retired, probably one of the very first beads that I ever purchased when I started collecting. This is Black Flower Mosaic. And as you can see, it has these different patches of dichroic glass. Like here, my glass is kind of that pinky purple. And then it goes to, well, almost like a pink there. And then this side is kind of yellow. So gorgeous, gorgeous bead. Here we have the Bumblebee Stopper. And then we have a little framed by buds, kind of hugging my other green onyx. And then the Capsule of Life Stopper, which again is one of those long retired stoppers. So that is everything for the Transformation Butterflies Challenge. Let me know which is your favorite bracelet or design that I put together. Have you purchased any of the Transformation Butterfly beads? Which one's your favorite? Let me know in the comments below, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.